To the Minister for Regulation, what does the passing of the Regulatory Standards Bill mean for New Zealanders?
The Honourable David Seymour.
Mr Speaker.
Hang on. Why so much talk? The Honourable David Seymour.
Mr Speaker, it means when politicians bring legislation to this House and officials make regulations that affect New Zealanders' lives, the impacts on them, on their property and on their liberties, and the question of whether the law was made properly and thoughtfully will be crystal clear to those New Zealanders so that they can put pressure on politicians and choose better laws for their future.
Supplementary. What are the next steps in bringing the Regulatory Standards Bill to life?
Mr Speaker, the House passed the Regulatory Standards Act last Thursday. It will come into effect progressively from New Year's Day 2026. There is work to be done creating guidance that the Act provides for so that officials and government departments can make sure that they are properly following its requirements, and there is also a Regulatory Standards Board to appoint who act as a watchdog to ensure the declarations for the public benefit are made properly.
Mr Speaker, supplementary. How will the Regulatory Standards Act be helpful to decision makers?
Mr Speaker, I'm sure I speak for many people on both sides of the House who have been subject to long, ponderous and ultimately ineffective regulatory impact statements. This will be changed to a large extent with the Act's introduction of consistency accountability statements, which have legislated requirements for what they must contain and no more, so that decision makers and the public can clearly see what the impacts of a government's initiative on the people of New Zealand actually is.
Supplementary. How will the Regulatory Standards Act be useful to public servants developing policy?
Well, Mr Speaker, right from the beginning, the public servants will be required to think hard about what the impacts of rules and objectives they pursue on New Zealanders actually are. I was just reading an excellent opinion piece on The Post about an Epsom electorate constituent we'll call Robin, who lost her life savings and her livelihood because of a totally irresponsible piece of legislation that came out of this House. People in New Zealand will enter an era of transparency and accountability where if politicians want to do things like that to people, at the very least, we as a country will be making those decisions eyes wide open thanks to the accountability and transparency brought by the Regulatory Standards Act.